policies.
You want a shot at $50,000 in cold, hard cash? Well, Bull Rush just dropped a new sports comp, the NFL Survivor. And the total prize pool, a massive $100,000. First place gets 50 grand, straight up. Think you got the picks to survive 20 weeks?
Join now at bullrush.com/ESPN.
Bar to 64,000.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Mechanicsville Kia is opening this October, and we're hiring auto techs, sales associates, and support personnel. If you believe in honesty, accountability, and doing the right thing for customers and your community, we want you on our team. Join us at our job fair, August 19th through the 21st from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Hyatt Place, Richmond, Arboretum, or apply online at mechanicsvillekia.com. We empower our employees to grow, lead, and thrive. Let's build something exceptional together. Mechanicsville Kia, trust at every turn.
From the Bull Rush ESPN studio. Learn more at bullrush.com/ESPN. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1 ESPN. Richmond. It's time to get your morning going. Richmond Sports Talk by Richmond sports fans. This is Fitz the Bill with Jack Fitzpatrick. All live from the capital of the Commonwealth, where sharp analysis, your cause, and Richmond always come first. If it's making headlines locally or nationally, we're breaking it down. Now,
take my time to South Beach.
Live from the capital of the Commonwealth, Fitz the Bill with your host, Jack Fitzpatrick.
Good Wednesday, August 13th morning. Appreciate you clocking in, getting your day started with us right here on Fitz the Bill. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Alan alongside on what will be a very fun Wednesday, midweek edition of Fitz the Bill right here on 106.1 ESPN, live from the Bull Rush Studios here in the capital of the Commonwealth. We've got a loaded show, specifically in hour number 2. Chase Briscoe, he's joining. He's the driver of the number 19 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota. He'll be joining at about 9 a.m., so right at the start of hour number 2. And we'll talk about Richmond, what his expectations are heading into the playoffs, and how year 1 with Joe Gibbs Racing has gone. And then at 9:30, Charles Scott from Huguenot will be calling into the show, and we'll talk all things Huguenot high school football. The Falcons try to build upon the success from last season. Max Preps had them ranked to finish the season as the 15th best school in Virginia, one of the top schools in the Richmond area, one of the Richmond City schools that have bounced back extremely well under Charles Scott. So excited to catch up with him as they're getting, about 2 weeks away from their season opener against St. Christopher. So a loaded hour number 2. And in the meantime, in hour number 1, we've got a lot to talk about. There's some gambling going on with the Mateer situation at Oklahoma. There's Shohei Ohtani being involved in another money issue thing that's a little questionable. And then there's a ton of injury updates around the NFL. And as always, you can watch the stream live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Just type in ESPN Richmond in the search bar. We'll pop right on up, and you can watch the stream live. And you can be part of the stream over there by liking, commenting, and subscribing on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And if you want to be part of the show the old-fashioned way, we would love you to be 804-327-0888. That's the call-in number. That's the text number. You love it. You know it. 804-327-0888. Good morning, Alan. Happy Wednesday. A little midweek. We've still got a sprint, man. The rest of this August, we've got so much stuff coming that it feels like there's no off days between now and kickoff of the college football season, the NFL season.
There are no off days. Yep.
No off days, baby. The grind. We built different. Insert everything.
Yes, insert all the things that you say when you want to lie to yourself.
Exactly. We built different. Because today we're going out to JMU. Matt Josephs and I will be going out to JMU for JMU Football Media Day, where we'll talk with a bunch of people. We get all the coordinators. I'm chatting with both quarterbacks, Sluka and Camden Coleman. Amar Thomas, one of the defensive end edge rusher guys, we'll be chatting with. Jordan Thomas, a mainstay at the safety position in St. Christopher's product. Trent Hendrick as well. So that's all coming later today. And then tomorrow we'll kick off our Fitz the Bill, quote-unquote, on-the-road segments where we'll be previewing all of the state schools from JMU, UVA, Virginia Tech, ODU, Norfolk State, Richmond, William & Mary, some Liberty in there as well. So we'll be going on the road, potentially going live from UVA next week, working some things out, working some specifics out with that, with the UVA team. They've been extremely awesome getting all of that set up. But tomorrow, Thursday, will be our first Fitz the Bill, quote unquote, on the road, where we're starting our team previews as well. And then we've got, just a lot. Then Friday, we're going to be live from the racetrack with truck drivers. No, not 18-wheelers, not 18-wheeler truck drivers, like Craftsman Truck Series drivers. Some of them will be rolling by. If there's any cup drivers at the track on Friday morning, we'll have them come by, working with the team at Richmond. Trey Gomez has been awesome to work with, working with them to get that all set up as well. So a lot happening. Keep it locked right here on Fitz the Bill. If you ever miss anything that we do, maybe it gets, there's about like a 75% chance it gets posted to YouTube, because sometimes I forget to post things to YouTube.
I was going to say, that's on you.
Yeah, it's 100% on me. Sometimes I just forget to post things. But we'll try our best to get it 100% hit rate with everything that's happening over these next couple of weeks on our YouTube. So you don't want to miss out what's happening. Fitz the Bill, ESPN, RVA on YouTube. Fitz the Bill, ESPN, RVA on Instagram as well. And TikTok if you're into that sort of thing. So everything happening with Oklahoma is, I think, wildly blown out of proportion. We talked about it briefly yesterday, right, with the John Mateer situation, the transfer quarterback who had a stellar 2024 with Washington State. He redshirted in 2022, had some he played in 12 games in 2023, didn't get any starts, then in 2024 really burst onto the scene. His coach gets hired away, his offensive coordinator goes down to Oklahoma. He enters the transfer portal, and John Mateer finds his way down to Oklahoma, was one of the most sought-after quarterbacks in this year's transfer class. Now, high expectations for Oklahoma. Him and his offensive coordinator are expected to take Oklahoma from one of the worst offenses in the FBS to one of the top units in the FBS. And it all relies on how Mateer will play. It all relies on Mateer playing in general. But now some Venmo transactions have resurfaced earlier this week that has put that into a little bit of question, because Mateer back in 2022 sent some friends some Venmo transactions with the description of sports gambling. That seems a little on the nose, don't it? That seems a little pretty obvious for a guy who was new to college. This was 2022. He was redshirting his freshman year, but he had just gone through all of the rules and regulations of what you can and can't do as a college athlete in the NCAA. And I imagine probably front and center in 2022 with it all was, you cannot bet on sports of any level, any NCAA-sponsored sport you are not allowed to bet on. So it feels a little on the nose that Mateer would then, 4 or 5 months after probably getting that whole orientation, would then actually be gambling on sports and be so idiotic to post this Venmo transaction in sports gambling. Now, crazier things have happened, but Mateer claims that these were just inside jokes between friends. He said, quote, "The allegations that I once participated in sports gambling are false. My previous Venmo descriptions did not accurately portray the transactions in question, but were instead inside jokes between me and my friends. I have never bet on sports. I understand the seriousness of that matter, but recognize that taken out of context, those Venmo descriptions suggest otherwise. I can assure my teammates, coaches, and officials at the NCAA that I have not engaged in any sports gambling." And then Oklahoma reaffirmed in a statement of their own that they too have no reason to believe that he engaged in sports gambling. And I believe that. I believe that Mateer did not bet on sports. You know why? Because sportsbooks are the feds, man. You do anything on a sportsbook, they know exactly what you are, who you are, where you did it, everything about you. They've got access to your bank information. They've got access to your social security number, your address, everything. They've been able to identify Jonte Porter, Malik Beasley, a ton of other players, maybe not a ton, that would be a pretty widespread scandal, but some other players as well in the NBA and MLB. Iowa State players got caught up in a bit of a scandal a couple of seasons ago. Sportsbook are the feds. You're not getting around them. You are not getting around sportsbooks. And they have not come out and said, yes, he bet. And so I believe it. I believe that he did not bet. Now, if he turns out he did gamble on sports, he would face at least a 6-game suspension. But I just don't think so. Sportsbooks are the feds, man.
Yeah, see, as far as sports books go, I'm always good with the jokes in the morning. I didn't know sports book till I became a grown man. I mean, I had a friend who had a friend.
Yeah, well,
before all that, especially in college.
Not to age you here, but sports books weren't legal when you were betting with your friends back in college.
No, it's not even to age me. Shoot, I mean, it wasn't legal for a long time.
It wasn't legal, I think, in Virginia until what, like 21?
Yeah, it was always frowned upon. It's still kind of frowned upon.
Yeah.
But even before that, though, there was always a guy. Like, we're going to talk about Shohei later. There's always a guy. I don't believe it just because I hate to put us in a box, but people who gamble have a certain thing about them. I feel like I can pick up on gamblers pretty good. Like before the Malik Beasley proof came out, I was like, that dude's definitely gambling. You can tell by how he lived his life.
They tried. Yeah, with 5 seconds.
How he lived his life in general. You could tell. Like I feel like there's some character traits to people who gamble. I'm not slandering Pete Rose, but I know he was a degenerate. Even before you would have told me that he had a scandal when he was a manager, looking at his habits and how he talked about, when he was in Vegas and things like that, you can tell he was into that kind of thing.
It's like Michael Jordan. He's a degenerate.
Yeah,
and it's kind of shocking he never had he just loved basketball so much he wasn't betting.
He's also, like, it's hard to go broke as a billionaire.
It's also really... There's also so many like conspiracy theories hovering around Michael Jordan because of his gambling.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give the kid a little bit of a break. It was 2022 for crying out loud. If he really was gambling, there would be some kind of a paper trail at this point, even in how he plays or what he's done or even purchases, man. Like seriously, there would have been some form of tangent proof. This is the one time I probably have to go against the media and say we just run with everything. It's a screenshot, and it's like, oh, there's your proof right there.
And other people have like surfaced screenshots of Venmo transactions where he had it where it said like sports gambling, parentheses, USC versus UCLA. And it was like the day after a USC-UCLA game.
Yeah.
I don't know how, maybe his friends gamble differently, but typically when you gamble in the way that people are accusing him of, you have to front that money before the game, not the day after the game. Now, could it have been a friendly wager between friends sitting around in his apartment? Because, again, he's redshirting that season, so he's probably not traveling with the team. He's doing his own thing on game days. If they're traveling, he's probably at his apartment, in his dorm, watching games with his friends. Is he making some sort of friendly wager with them? That's technically not allowed.
Yeah.
But he might be like a $5 bet. Hey, I bet USC's winning today. And I don't see a problem with that. The problems I see with sports betting in sports now is when you are betting against your team or you are betting player props on yourself and things of that sort, much like Jonte Porter, much like Malik Beasley, because then it's impacting
Porter hardly played. That was the crazy part.
And he still managed to cash a lot of unders because he hardly played.
Yeah.
But like, that's my issue with it. And I get that you can't let any of it in because then if you let a little bit in, then the infection can spread, essentially. However, if he's just betting with his friends at home while he's redshirting as a freshman in 2022 at Washington State, I don't have a problem with that. Even if he is doing it, I don't think that's a problem.
I would need more proof, honestly. Like it's...
Yeah, and people are like, that's a bad inside joke. we all have horrible inside
I mean, it was
jokes.
2022.
But also, like-
and he wasn't on the scene then. He was a nobody.
You're telling me that, like, your friend group, this is just out to the general public, not necessarily to you, Alan, unless you want to answer it.
Oh, no, my friend group's crazy.
Like-
I sent you the screenshot.
We got, like, inside jokes with my friend groups can just sometimes be, like, the word dumb.
Yeah.
Or, like, just really idiotic things. And, like, it's how you say it.
And my college football chat is the worst one. So
Like, people are just like, he bet. This isn't funny, therefore it can't be an inside joke. Inside jokes are inside jokes because they're inside jokes. Like,
only you're supposed to get it.
and so let's just leave the kid alone for a little bit. And if he was betting on sportsbooks, we would know by now because they are they got your social, they got your address. It's very tough to try and fake being someone else. Like, it is very tough to do that on a sports book. As someone who has worked on the sports book side, I understand what they are doing and how they are monitoring you. And if he bet on a sports book, there's no getting around it. All right, let's update you with some other things that you may have missed in the wide world of sports. Kind of like Shohei Ohtani getting into a little trouble again.
This is your Fitz the Bill morning update, getting you caught up on some of the biggest stories in sports.
All right, folks, all the Brewers know how to do is win because for the second time this season, Milwaukee has a win streak of 11 games. The 11th win last night was a 14-0 dub over Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates. The third team, they are the third team since World War II. You know, it's a good streak when we're citing world wars. They are the third team since World War II with multiple win streaks of at least 11 games in a season. The 1954 Cleveland, that's all it says, Cleveland in 1954. The Toronto Blue Jays in 15. And the first National League team to accomplish this since the 1935 Chicago Cubs. Shohei Ohtani again caught up in something not great. Currently, there is a lawsuit out there accusing Ohtani and his agent of interfering with a $240 million Hawaii real estate development. Two Hawaii-based real estate developers are suing Ohtani and his agent, claiming they got them fired from the $240 million luxury housing project that has been a decade plus in the making. Ohtani had recently purchased a $17 million home in the development called the Manu Kea Resort. Probably mispronouncing that. Apologies if you're Hawaiian listening. Around the MLB, the Mariners 1-0 win over the Orioles last night, and the Mariners are now 10-1 since the trade deadline. The Royals won 8-5 in Kansas City over the Nationals. Phillies fell 6-1 to the Reds. Yankees got a 9-1 win over the Twins. The Mets beat up on the Braves 13-5. Braves are now 18 games back of the Phillies, and the Phillies have opened up a 5-game lead over the Mets in the NL East. Dodgers fell on a walk-off to the Angels. Final score 7-6. The Dodgers are now tied. They have fallen back and are now tied with the Padres at the top of the NL West. In the NFL, some quick injury updates around training camps. Jordan Love, the Packers quarterback, had surgery on his left thumb yesterday to repair a ligament. He's expected, though, to be ready for the season opener. Vikings have lost wide receiver Rondale Moore for the second straight season as he suffered another season-ending left knee injury. This one was in the preseason opener, and they confirmed it yesterday with an MRI. Tyrod Taylor, he had surgery, arthroscopic knee surgery to correct an issue that has sidelined him the last week. He'll be out the remainder of the preseason. Hopes are that he'll be ready to be the backup in week 1. And in soccer news, Wrexham, the team owned by Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, just pulled off an insane win. Trailing 3-1 in stoppage time, Ollie Palmer netted 2 goals in the 91st minute and the 92nd minute. Got the 3-3 tie, and Wrexham would go on to win 5-3 in penalties in the Cabarro Cup. Massive stuff from Wrexham, who have shot their way up the different leagues over there in England, thanks to a money infusion from Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. All right, we'll get a break in here. On the other side, we'll talk a little bit about Shohei Ohtani and so much more. Keep it locked right here on 106.1 ESPN.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa, Michaela! Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
What is your next success story? At University of Maryland Global Campus, you can succeed again with more than 135 affordable online degrees and certificates to help you move your career forward. From cybersecurity and AI to healthcare and MBA, our programs help you build critical thinking, leadership, and communication skills that set you apart in today's job market. Apply now and save with no application fee through September 3rd. Visit umgc.edu to get started. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed early bird special $49.99. Seminars Thursday, August 21st. Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons, Glen Allen. Weight loss 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking 8 p.m. Or Saturday, August 23rd. Hilton Garden Inn, Colonial Heights. Weight loss 11 a.m. Stop smoking 2 p.m.
106.1 ESPN Traffic.
Expect heavy traffic heading north on 95 between Bells Road and Maury Street. There's been an accident on 95 southbound approaching Hermitage Road, causing delays backing up to Parham. Some congestion heading west on 64 between Mechanicsville Turnpike and 95. And for those of you heading south on Ashland Road, we're seeing delays between Lanier and 64.
Hey, it's Delvin Joyce, JMU Hall of Famer and former New York Giant. And listen, make sure you tune in to Talkin' Dukes every Wednesday on 106.1 ESPN Richmond. Go Dukes!
You want a shot at $50,000 in cold hard cash? Well, Bull Rush just dropped a brand new sports comp, the NFL Survivor. Total prize pool, $100,000. First place gets $50,000 straight up. Think you got the picks to survive 20 weeks? Join now at bullrush.com/ESPN. That's bullrush.com/ESPN. All right. Ryan Reynolds, man. We were talking about it there at the end of the sports update. Just so everyone, Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, you may know him from that. Aviation Gin, you may know him from that. Mint Mobile, we were talking off air. Alan made the joke. I mean, Mint Mobile, the dude's selling cell phones. He gives you money when you buy one of his cell phones. That's kind of their business model. Not actually, but it's a very interesting business model because it is some cheap cell phones.
So, funny thing, right? So he has invested. He purchased Wrexham, right?
Wrexham
AFC. For $2.5 million. The only reason why
so cheap.
Yeah, the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because I don't know if people paid attention, but we've had a lot of athletes start investing in teams. We've seen some athletes invest in the WNBA. And you look at like profitability of some of these investments. I always go back to LeBron James. This is one thing I will give LeBron a lot of credit for. He invested.
Clip it, everyone. Clip
he
it.
invested. It was a 2% stake in Liverpool. I think through Fenway Sports Group. So that was $6.5 million when he did that back in 2011. What is it? 14 years later, it's $129.5 million value now. And that was a 2% stake in Liverpool. The amount of money those clubs make for their owners when they get to the top rank. So Liverpool's obviously at the top of the EPL.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an extreme circumstance. But I think it was Lancaster is how you say it or pronounce it. There was a time where they were like a second-tier team, and they got into the top tier, into the EPL, and they actually won it, and they made so much money. Like, you talk about TV rights and things like that. So just so people know, there's a big plus side if Wrexham was even to get into like the second tier of the English Premier League professionalism. Like not even like the very top of the league. They can go second tier, and he would have probably made 100 times worth the value of what he invested initially.
So him and Rob McElhenney, they split the $2.5 million.
Oh, that's even better.
So what? $1.25 million. They.
I need
split.
friends like that.
And then, and you may know Rob McElhenney from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They are now, Wrexham is trying, this was back in June, just to kind of put it into perspective. Bought it for what, $2.5 million in 2021. They are trying to sell stake in the team, and the amount of stake that they're doing would put the value of the team at $475 million.
That's crazy.
What? Man, we got into the wrong thing, man. We should have started investing in sports when we were kids.
It's hard. It's hard to get into the professional ranks out here in America, but like,
well, I bet that's why they went to Wrexham. They probably wanted like an MLS team or something.
Yeah,
and then couldn't get into one.
I mean, hey, look, if you're local, invest in the Kickers. They're moving up in their leagues and stuff.
Especially with the new setup. Not to go completely off tangent here, but and talking USL soccer here when it's prime football season.
We're trying to help people make money,
but like we're trying to help you make money. But also, like the USL's introducing, I think in 2027 it's going to start. They haven't really released anything since the initial announcement, but there's going to be promotion and relegation introduced to the USL. So the MLS is its own thing over here. That's quote unquote the top tier of American soccer. And then the USL has the Championship, League One, and League Two. Kickers currently occupy a spot in League One, but with promotion and relegation, if you finish, let's say, in the top, they haven't announced anything, so just kind of spitballing here. Top three in League One, you'll jump up into the USL Championship League. Bottom three teams go down to League One, and that's kind of how it'll shake out. So promotion and relegation is becoming a real thing in American soccer. So yeah, who knows what the Kickers could jump their way up. Currently, Wrexham is in the Championship League over there in the EFL, which I believe is the 2 steps below. And this is someone's probably listening, yelling at me about this. Is the Championship 2 steps below or 1 step below the Premier League?
I think it's 2 steps.
Okay,
but I have to double check. Look, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not into minor league English Premier Soccer.
Yeah, neither am I.
I'm just saying it's more to it than just a couple actors spending money.
It's the one right below the Premier League because Leicester City is in the Championship.
I said Lancaster. Leicester. Yeah, that was the team that moved up and got like crazy money.
That's when you sell your stake. Get out.
Yeah,
and try to profit as much as you can. So Najee Harris is back running and doing drills at Chargers practice. Did you see this, Alan?
I have not seen it, but I heard about it, and I heard his eye looks terrible.
Dude nearly lost his agent said it's a superficial eye injury that he suffered on the 4th of July, but like his eye looked terrible. There's questions like if he can actually see really well, if it's impacting any of that, but he's back running, doing drills. Isn't announced if he's like cleared for any contact or anything, or if he's just doing the drills at Chargers practice. So Najee Harris slowly working his way back in Los Angeles, but man, got me thinking. Omarion Hampton is primed for a breakout rookie season. He may be a better running back in 2025 than Ashton
Don't
Genty
you do
is.
it. Why'd you say that? I said that in the very beginning.
I know.
Been stopping for Marion Hampton for a year. He's really good.
He's really good. There was a point of last season that he had more yards after contact than the rest of the country except Ashton Genty.
I watched Marion Hampton hurdle somebody and break a tackle while his feet were off the ground.
So I'm right there with you. I'm there too, because there's a kind of tangent here to this opinion. The Raiders, look, I was stumping for him, Alan.
No.
Alan, I got it. Look, it's preseason. We are still allowed to change our opinions.
You have to go down with that shit.
I'm not going down with this shit because I saw them play in the preseason, man, and their offensive line, SUCKS.
Yes.
Their offensive line sucks.
You can't tell the starters from the backups with their offensive line. You're right.
So it's still preseason. Here's my rule on Fitz the Bill. Preseason, it's the time where you can make bold proclamations, and you also can change your bold proclamation.
Some things you can't come back from, Jack.
Everything locks in week one. Look, it's not week one, man. It's not week one. My bold proclamation was that the Raiders were going to make the playoffs. I am now retracting that fully. And the Raiders, they need some offensive line help. And
they'll get it together.
Their defense looked horrid against the Seahawks as well.
They'll get. I have a little bit of faith. They'll get some of it together. Like Pete Carroll has a system. It takes a little bit of time. They're a team that I anticipate will be better as the season gets longer.
Not to get really in the weeds here, but Pete Carroll, he had a lot of struggling offensive lines his last 7 years in Seattle. Can't really identify offensive line talent all that well, which makes me a little worried for the Raiders. Ashton Genty.
They're going to be better than the Broncos. What are you talking about?
Ashton Genty. I don't like the Broncos. Sean Payton rubs me the wrong way.
I mean, Sean Payton's not my favorite person.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I think the Broncos will be good. But 3 carries, -1 yards for Ashton Genty in the preseason opener. Now Omarion Hampton in the Chargers. I thought that Najee Harris would take some of those carries away and he wouldn't have necessary. Yeah, because Greg Roman is Greg Roman.
Yeah, you're right.
You know him well.
Yeah, unfortunately.
There was at a point in this offseason where he said, quote, there will be a rotation no matter what happens. The day of one running back taking every rep, it's kind of gone the way of prehistoric creatures. So if Najee Harris was out there, it is fair. But if Najee Harris was out there, I think he would take like 40 to 50% of Hampton's carries. I don't think Kamani Vidal, Naheem Hines, Jarrett Patterson, or any of their other no-name backs that they have in that backfield for the Chargers would take any more than 30% of the carries away from Hampton. So if Harris can't play, it opens the door for the UNC product to be probably the best rookie running back out there. And Chargers may be living in happiness because with an elite level quarterback in Justin Herbert, you got some good offensive weapons. You brought Keenan Allen back as well. I don't think Keenan Allen is completely washed. I don't think they're completely washed, but I think the Chargers might be pretty good, and Omarion Hampton might be helping push them to a potential takedown of the Chiefs in the AFC West. See, here's the bold proclamations again.
If they had a healthy offensive line, like if Slater hadn't went down, and if I could see just a little bit more depth from their defense, I'd be on it. Like, because again, I expect the Chargers to be better, but it's losing your left tackle you're gonna struggle.
But thankfully, not thankfully, but you lost him now rather than like the day before week one type of thing.
I don't think he's coming back.
No. What I'm saying is you have time to get your new left tackle into the situation.
True.
If you're going to lose a left tackle, you would choose never to lose your left tackle. And I'm not breaking any news by saying that. But then if you do have a time, you'd rather be early on in camp rather than.
Can I do something different too? Can I lead in on this caller? Because he's my favorite caller.
Hey, take it away. We got Chris out there.
We got Chris.
This is your guy.
Chris is my guy, but he wants to talk to you specifically.
All right,
Chris, you're on.
Chris, how we doing?
Listen, I'm doing fine, guys. Listen. You can't be wavering after a preseason game. The Raiders only played a series, not even a series. I mean, a series, and you're gonna judge a season off a series in preseason. And if you rocking with us, rock with us, because I guarantee you, once you jump off, you're off. There will be no life preserver thrown to you. I'm not saying we win in the Super Bowl, but I mean, this guy said we're going down because of the offensive line. First of all, they broke the offensive line up purposefully because of the way Chip Kelly's system running. Our center was playing guard, our guard was playing center, and so forth and so on. It's preseason. This is when you experiment. We're not trying to win the preseason. We're trying to practice, get better, and we were 4-12, trying to win at least 9 games. That's what we're saying here. I mean, but just to jump off the bandwagon after you saw a preseason game, dude, come on now. Come on, really.
We're talking about preseason.
To me,
we are talking about
preseason. What that tells me
preseason.
is that you were never really with us in the first place.
Look, I love
Your heart
Gino.
wasn't in it,
I
Jack.
love Gino. I love
Your
Pete.
heart wasn't in it,
but
Jack.
Look, man. Look, you guys had one of the worst offensive lines last year, too, right?
Okay, that was last year. What do we have this year? You don't know yet.
I got a pretty good feeling, though.
How? How do you have a feeling? Off of what?
You didn't bring in a lot of reinforcements along the offensive line. What I was saying with Pete Carroll.
Yeah, well, that's not true. Actually, we bought one of the guys. All I hear y'all guys talk about is in-state colleges. We got a guy from William and Mary that you should know about. That's actually not true. That's actually not true. We did bring in some talent, and we bought talent last year. That's why we were kind of horrific last year, because they were young. So they got a year better. And we got Johnson Powers, one of the best offensive linemen in the draft last year.
He was my favorite.
I do love
I
him.
love Jackson Powers Johnson.
So
I interviewed
what I'm
him.
saying. I was about to go in the office, and I heard that, and I locked up everything, because I'm like, I was trying to give you guys a chance to at least get to the regular season. I promise you. When the regular season called, win, lose, or tie, wait until I die, I will call you on Monday, and we'll talk about it. But this is just a taste. This preseason. But listen, I'm glad you're off. More room for somebody who wants to be on. I got to get in the building, guys. I appreciate you taking my call. Have a great day.
Chris, thank you so much. Looking forward to hearing you after every Raiders win. Hopefully we hear you like 10, 11, 12 times this season.
I love the optimism.
I love it. I love that optimism. Look, I was on it, and he said I'm not allowed back on now that I've jumped off. Oh, all right, I guess I'm off.
And I stand with that, man. I can't believe you. I'm with Chris. How dare you? I thought you'd be in this for the long run.
Look, it's preseason.
JPJ's he's a dude, man, and he also had one of the most awkward questions asked to him at Senior Bowl last year.
Really?
Yeah, somebody asked him about his favorite Disney character.
Bro, he built like SpongeBob SquarePants. Have you seen it? He's just a square.
He's a beast, man. He's a beast.
Just a square. But no, he's a good offensive lineman. Now, they just need their offensive line to take a step forward, a pretty massive step forward. Then I think they can be competitive. But man, look, I'm in the sports talk business. All we got to work off right now is training camp clips and preseason games. I watched the preseason game, and my takeaway was the Seahawks are Super Bowl winners. All right. And
the silence.
And the Raiders defense needs some work, and their offensive line, sure, they might be testing some things out, but it just did not look good. And Ashton Genty just was not put in a place to succeed. But the Chargers are in a place to succeed.
I mean, again, I think the Chargers coming into this season should be considered contenders to challenge the Chiefs, make them work a little bit. Who knows? If the Chiefs don't fix their offensive line, right? We haven't seen them play yet as well as a unit. So if people don't improve, there will be changes. I'll put it that way.
And the Chiefs have also played essentially a season more of football over the last 3 years compared to everyone else with their Super Bowl run, and Super Bowl run. It's tough to keep that up, especially when you're a slightly older team and you're relying on Travis Kelce as your number one pass catcher because Rashee Rice is going to be suspended. Xavier Worthy is still trying to find the NFL rhythm. Isaiah Pacheco's coming off of a broken leg last season. I mean, there are some question marks around the Chiefs. And the Chargers are the biggest threat to them out there in the AFC West.
All right, so I'm going to give you one more chance, all right?
Is this me to get back?
Chris is the captain of the Raiders ship. Are you his first mate or are you out?
It's my last chance.
Yeah, it's your last chance. You can't come back.
Chris being... He said I can't come back.
Yeah, I stand with him. You can't come back. The door's going to close.
I know. I already jumped off the ship. I already was questioning it.
Man
He said
overboard.
I can't come back. I'm a man overboard. Don't throw me a lifesaver. I'll go swim back to shore. I respect him, and I'm the same way with the Seahawks. Once the ship has left the building, there's no getting back on. So I'm right. I'm very excited to talk with Chris each and every Monday or Tuesday.
I can't wait.
I hope he calls in like when they start 0-5. Not saying they're going to, But like that, like just I love just periodic like monthly check-ins, even if they haven't won, just to see how the vibes shift throughout the season.
Again, it's it's the beauty of all sports, man. We all have optimism before the season starts.
Yeah, we do. That's why the Seahawks are winning the Super Bowl. Jalen Milroe, MVP candidate.
Speaking as a Braves fan, I was optimistic.
Yeah,
Look at me now. I don't even want to talk about it. So
that was a yikes. All right, let's get a break in here. We'll be back with some news or snooze on the other side.
Summertime in RVA means one thing. Golf season is here. If you're looking for the perfect golf course, head over to Queenfield Golf Club, located just a few minutes east of Mechanicsville. Queenfield offers a beautifully secluded 18-hole course, spacious driving range, and professionally maintained practice greens and bunkers. Schedule your tee time today by calling 804-769-8838 or reserve a spot online at queenfieldgolf.com. And make Queenfield Golf Club your new favorite course.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Big year. I'm starting middle school.
Welcome to the jungle, Missy.
Best part? My parents promised me a new laptop.
Perfect for homework, essays, and drudgery.
So we went to Staples. They had all the latest tech, and laptops were up to 40% off.
Woo! Another back-to-school budget saved by Staples Easy Button.
Mom high-fived the cashier. So embarrassing.
Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. In 23 select models only.
If you have back-to-school shopping to do, then you should make Macy's your first stop, because Macy's has back-to-school styles from brands like Nike and Jordan, must-have denim from Levi's and Good American, and now Macy's has Abercrombie Kids too. It's all in one place, all at great prices. And here's another reason to come in. If you're already at Macy's and you saved so much, you could stop by the fragrance counter and pick up something for yourself too. The best back-to-school styles are here now at Macy's.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking early bird special, $49.99. Seminars Thursday, August 21st. Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons, Glen Allen. Weight loss 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking 8 p.m. Or Saturday, August 23rd, Hilton Garden Inn, Colonial Heights. Weight loss 11 a.m. Stop smoking 2 p.m.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Coming September 2nd to ESPN Radio, The Rich Eisen Show.
The U.S. Ryder Cup captain Keegan Bradley. Good to see you, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good, boys.
Derrick Henry of the Baltimore Ravens. What's up, Derrick? How are you?
Hey, what's up? The Rich Eisen Show.
Super Bowl champion Lane Johnson. Good to see you, Lane. How are you, sir?
Doing well.
Head coach of the Washington Commanders, Dan Quinn.
Rich, man, it's good to be back on the show.
Rich Eisen.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
106.1 ESPN weather.
Taking a look at today's weather forecast, it's currently 77 degrees and cloudy with a low today of 75 and a high of 86. We're seeing overcast skies throughout the morning and into the afternoon with chance of rain around 4 p.m. Gusts of wind are up to 13 miles per hour. And taking a look at tomorrow, we're going to be seeing some similar weather with a high of 89 and a low of 74.
Commander fans, gear up. Raising Hell is your new go-to for fiery takes, player breakdowns, and inside scoops on Washington's march to glory. Whether we're winning or rebuilding, stay loud, stay proud. Catch Raising Hell only on 106.1 ESPN starting March 7th.
Welcome back in.
Yeah, can I clarify that?
There's a lot of layers. Oh, wait, we can do the Raising Hail thing, yeah.
Yeah, Raising Hell is going to start next. I don't know how they messed that date up. And that's my voice for crying out loud.
That's your voice.
Jesus. Raising Hell's next Thursday. We're going to start it right after the preseason game. So next Thursday, 6 to 7.
And also the Check Yourself bumper music.
Yeah.
Couple of, Ice Cube, Raiders fan.
Check yourself.
Check
buddy.
myself about my Raiders now hate. There's a couple things layered in there. Time for some news or snooze.
News or snooze.
All right, number one, the Brewers win streak up to 11. Newsworthy. Oh, they're also 19-4 since the All-Star break. 19-4. Last night, it was a 14-0 absolute demolition of the Paul Skeens-led Pirates to get the win streak to 11. Second 11-game win streak of the season. It's the second longest in franchise history. And now, since World War II, they are the third team with multiple win streaks of at least 11 games in a season. Cleveland did it in 1954. Toronto did it in 2015. And the Milwaukee Brewers are the first National League team to do it since Chicago did it, the Cubs, in 1935. That is very newsworthy. What happened in Milwaukee? All of a sudden, they get rid of their coach who goes down to the Chicago Cubs, and now after the All-Star break, they just decide to go 19-4, and they've had two. They are the anti-Atlanta Braves.
All right, so that was unnecessary. And secondly, to my guy Craig Counsell, the grass is not always greener on the other side. You should have stayed where you were at.
I don't think they would have been 22-0.
But I'm sure he's got the funds to make up for it.
Yes. Oh, 1,000%.
But no, I'm happy for Milwaukee.
11-0.
I'm happy for baseball. Like every sport right now needs parity. They need storylines, and if we keep getting the same teams winning over and over and over again, it's going to make it stale. And in a sport like baseball, I know we love the big markets, Dodgers, Yankees, things like that, but you need the Milwaukees to push these teams.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for it.
I mean, look at the AL East right now. You got Toronto at the top. You've got Boston second. The Yankees are what, like 6 games out? Yeah, 6 games out of first. They're firmly on the wild card as it stands right now, in danger of missing the playoffs because they're getting pushed by a lot of different teams. The Detroit Tigers are dominating in the AL Central. The Phillies, Milwaukee, man.
My guy AJ Hinch is about to change the game. We're going to start talking managers more because he has done so much for the Tigers.
I know this is like a really far down the line, huge what if, but if he wins the World Series this year with Detroit, is he regarded? Do we forget about his cheating scandal in Houston, and do we regard him as one of the top coaches, or ever? Or do you think that cheating scandal will always follow him, and he'll never be able to kind of graduate into that upper echelon of greatest managers of all time?
Somebody will bring it up, but I don't think it's going to affect his legacy.
Yeah, because look at Bill Belichick. Yeah. Bill Belichick has 15 scandals.
Really unnecessary, but creative. I like that. You didn't have to take a swipe at Bill. But I get it, though. That's a great reference. It's true, too.
I take it. Milwaukee Brewers, who would have thought bringing up the Brewers would bring up swipes at Bill Belichick
and the Braves? I mean, I don't love Bill like I love the Braves, so you're fine.
Number 2, Odell Beckham Jr. confirms he has not retired in response to a troll account. He said, quote, "Not done yet." Snoozeworthy. Maybe Odell Beckham Jr. should take a piece of advice from that troll account and retire.
All right, I'm going to air grievance out. It's based on a stupid meme, but there's a meme of all-time great receivers, obviously new generation guys.
Yeah.
And Odell Beckham is on that picture with like Antonio Brown, Chad Johnson, Lord, AJ Green, and a couple other guys that we know, modern era. And people are saying Andre Johnson should be the one to go and leave Odell Beckham. And I just want to publicly say I do not agree with that. And I love Odell. He had 2 really good seasons. Actually, he might have had like 3 really good seasons. And we all know the catch. But like the totality of his career, we can't put him at that level with like I think the AJ Greens and people like that.
I don't think that's crazy to say either. I mean, you look at since he left New York, he was really good with New York.
No, he was great.
His first 3 seasons in the NFL, he was phenomenal, absurdly good, culminating in his his 3rd year in the NFL in 2016. He took over 1,000 snaps, was just an absolute maniac. And then his last 2 years in New York, one was injured, the other one was phenomenal in 2018. Then he goes to Cleveland, never really catches on.
Nobody does.
Gets traded to the Rams, has a pretty solid time with the Rams, but then tears his ACL in the Super Bowl. And since then, hasn't really been fully able to come back. And 2024, his production and his play fell off an absolute cliff. And typically, you don't know you're washed until you're washed.
Yeah, it sneaks up on you. And my man, Andre Johnson's body of work was...
Andre Johnson was just a consistently great receiver. I think OBJ, his height was so high. His highlights were so amazing. People in the backyard were trying to recreate his catches. They were doing he became that generation's Moss. Like, when I remember growing up, when I would play football, it'd be like, oh, you got Moss. And you'd go up and try and do crazy stuff. For OBJ, he was that for the next generation, trying to do the OBJ catch and everything. So I think we kind of overhype what he did. His height was fantastic, but he just was never consistently great like some of the others. With all that being said, he should probably retire.
No, he's retired. He just doesn't know it.
We're a month out of the season. No one wants you. You only played in 9 games last year, coming off your worst career year. Didn't catch a touchdown for the first time in his career. Hasn't been the same since that injury he suffered in the Super Bowl. At this point, I think the troll account was just trying to help, man. Just retire. All right, number 3. Lawsuit accuses Shohei Ohtani, an agent, of interfering with the $240 million Hawaii development. Newsworthy. All right, to get the kind of mumbo-jumbo out of the way, 2 Hawaii-based real estate developers are suing Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani and his agent, claiming his agent got them fired from a $240 million luxury housing project that was a decade plus in the making. It's not clear whether or not Ohtani was directly involved or if it was the agent working on his own using Ohtani's name as leverage.
We're doing this again?
I mean, a little weird that Shohei's...
Nope. Shohei Ohtani is worth way too much money to have people moving on his behalf without him saying so.
He's a little weird, man. I feel like Shohei... He hides behind this an interpreter. He hides behind... I feel like he's like a supervillain.
He probably is. He probably is, for real.
Like Shohei Ohtani's like a pretty massive supervillain.
I refuse to believe that
this just
he
seems
didn't
interesting.
know.
I also think he thrives in these environments because when all of that stuff was happening with his interpreter last year about gambling, he like went on like a really good hot streak. Last night he hit a home run, I think in his first plate appearance or something, with all of this hanging over his head. It's just odd, man. And look, none of this happened before he was in L.A. He should have just stayed in Anaheim with the Angels.
I mean, he's still in L.A. So
well, Anaheim's not L.A.
Hey, it's in the name. It's the Los Angeles
Angels of Anaheim.
Yeah, exactly.
Stupidest sports name in the world. Who has your city before and after your team mascot?
It is very strange.
Or the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. That was their foray. Disney was trying to get into sports teams. That's why they also had the Anaheim Ducks. The Anaheim Ducks, the Mighty Ducks, were created after the success of the Mighty Ducks movie. The Angels, I believe, were created after the success of Angels in the Outfield.
Top 5 sports jersey, though. The Anaheim Duck. No,
the Ducks.
The duck with the mask.
The Mighty Duck.
Yeah, the Mighty Duck.
Their current D is pretty bad.
Yeah, no, that's...
Bring back the old...
They even had a cartoon.
Yeah, exactly.
It's legit.
But Shohei... We're watching you, Shohei. We're keeping an eye on you.
I know who he really is. Again, when we talk about personality traits of degenerates and things like that, we've got 2 instances here. We've got 2 instances.
Once is a coincidence. Wait, what is the saying? Once is
don't even get me started on.
All I know is the J. Cole song. Fool me one time, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you. Fool me 3 times. We all know the lyric. Sing along if you know it in the car. But yeah, that's Shohei is up to 2. We know what 3rd brings.
I'm not messing with Shohei, man. There's just no way.
Hey, but he's good at baseball.
How much was it again, as far as the amount of money that
it's a $240 million luxury housing project.
$240 million.
But
and you're not going to have an input on that?
It's what it is essentially the agent got the 2 leaders of the project fired. So the project is still going on. Shohei also bought a house, or a property or whatever, $17 million in this luxury housing project. It's been a decade plus in the making, and essentially the agent got the 2 guys that were the head of it fired. It's still ongoing, and it appears that there was some name, image, and likeness usage of Shohei that wasn't necessarily allowed. However, in the article, it talked about how when he bought the $17 million property, part of it also was him becoming kind of the face of the property, like, oh, Shohei lives here. So it's all about a bunch of he said, she said, they did this, they did that. And the housing project is still moving forward. That's all working. The agent just got 2 real estate developers fired from the project.
It's
just weird.
Anytime you got M's behind the numbers, I have to have my input in on it.
Shoot, even T's behind the numbers, man.
And at that level of like, recognition and name, he's got to have some kind of say, man. Like, who doesn't have any say in their finance? Like,
100.
completely no say in your financial movements.
Yeah, Shohei. Either one of these 2 things are true. Shohei either is the most loose person with money, or he is a supervillain that knows exactly what's happening at all times, and he just pleads the fifth on everything.
I mean, it's
which
easy.
one's more likely?
It's easy to plead the fifth in those situations too,
especially when you're working with an interpreter.
No, exactly.
Interpreter.
But again, man, I don't even buy that he doesn't speak English well enough to talk to people directly. I don't buy that at all. I don't, man. I've said that for a while because I remember Ichiro picked it up pretty quickly, and
Ichiro did his Hall of Fame speech in English, and I was like, oh.
Dude, he
was an interpreter the whole time you played.
Man, he was cursing and everything. Like if you like some of the behind the scenes footage stuff, like he was just bluffing the whole time. So I'm like, I know Shohei can.
I love Ichiro.
But whatever. I mean, again, we can't prove anything, and so it is what it is. But
hear no evil, see no evil.
Yeah, but it's very shady and interesting that these things keep popping up for our guy.
Yeah, I mean, looking forward to what's coming out next season.
He's really good at baseball, though.
He's very good at baseball, and this does not impact him at all. This has not impacted. He goes up and he continues to perform well.
Well, you know what's funny, too, since we're on the topic? He was in the doghouse there for a second. Dave Roberts called him out and everything.
Doesn't matter.
Didn't use an interpreter when he called him out. and he clearly got the message. So I'm just saying.
All right, before we get to the end of hour number one, we did have some breaking news come through right before we started the show.
It's not breaking.
James Cook? James Cook, the Bills running back, has agreed to a 4-year, $48 million extension, $30 million guaranteed. That is the most guaranteed money for a running back over the last 5 years. So, all right, cool. Sure, James, it's $12 million a year. It's nothing too crazy.
Give 20% to Saquon, and then another 10% to Derrick Henry. I can't believe that, man. Like, I mean, I get it.
James Cook's a good running back.
He's a good running back. He's coming off his rookie deal. However,
and that's not even a lot of money. He's making $12 million average.
It's just the fact that it's the largest guarantee.
You just don't like the headline that he gets $30 million guaranteed.
It's offensive to so many running backs that were better than him.
Yeah, sure, but their agent didn't get that negotiation done.
Well, they didn't have the leverage.
Better.
They didn't have the leverage, but now they do.
James Cook didn't.
No, like as far as like the position.
Yeah, now you're starting to get a little bit more leverage.
Because what, 2-3 years ago, people were saying they're expendable, and then Spider-Man happened with Saquon Barkley, and now everybody wants one.
If I'm a running back at this point, I'm not trying to go for large average annual value deals. I'm going for large guaranteed money.
Yeah, you have to.
Like that, and that's what this tells me. It's a 4-year, $48 million extension. Essentially, that's probably going to be just a 4-year, $30 million deal because there's probably something built in where he can get cut in the final year of the extension and it'll be like no cap hit.
How many running backs we know typically make it to their second contract or get a second payday?
I mean,
they don't
not
often.
Lot.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry's the one guy that in this modern era, he's gotten 2 contracts since his rookie deal.
Yeah, he defies logic.
He
should have declined 3 years ago.
4 years. I mean,
yeah, maybe 4.
Well, granted, it took him 3 years to actually get good, if you remember that. Like, he was bad when he first started.
Yeah.
Well, not bad, but wasn't what he was. Saquon will get, he's gotten now technically 2 deals because they reworked an extension on his deal. So maybe that, but it is rare to get another contract after your second one. So James Cook trying to cash in when he can. He's kind of a luxury guy that they have.
That's
in
what I'm
Buffalo.
saying.
Like, he's not necessarily. He's good. He might be better than Dalvin, his brother. But all right, Bills. Look, you got a good deal. $12 million a year.
Healthy Dalvin over healthy James Cook any day.
That's
but
true.
Dalvin couldn't stay healthy.
We just haven't seen a healthy Dalvin
in a while.
In a long time. And now he's retired, right?
If he hasn't officially retired, I'm pretty sure
he's like OBJ. Troll accounts are telling him to retire.
The writing's on the wall for him.
He didn't play last season.
Yeah, I think he even got picked up by Dallas at one point.
Oh, yeah.
Reps. Yeah.
They had the Dalvin Cook, Ezekiel Elliott backfield, which may have been better than their Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders backfield they're trotting out this year.
Let's ask Denzel.
We'll be back with more. Hour number 2. Chase Briscoe, driver the number 19 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota, joining us in just a couple of minutes.
Statewide sports, straight talk, and no fluff. Border to Border with Matt Josephs on 106.1 ESPN. Your daily dose of hard-hitting Virginia sports debate. Don't miss it.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. You know, my friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof, and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking without cravings, irritability, or weight gain. Early bird special, only $49.99 guaranteed. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all, or your money back. Seminar 8 p.m. on Thursday, August 21st at the Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons in Glen Allen, or 2 p.m. on Saturday, August 23rd at the Hilton Garden Inn in Colonial Heights. Registration 30 minutes before seminar. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
It's summertime here in the RVA, and soccer season is in full swing. Make your plans now to catch the next Richmond Kickers home game Saturday, August 16th versus South Georgia Tormenta FC. It's back-to-school night at City Stadium as we get ready for the new school year. Gates open at 6 p.m. for a 7 p.m. start, so make sure to stop by early for happy hour beverage specials and sample RVA's best variety of food trucks. Reserve your tickets today at richmondkickers.com. And don't forget, at Kickers games, dogs are always welcome.
We're more than a station. We're a sports community. Braves, Spiders, NFL, NBA, MLB, NASCAR, talk shows, big games, local heroes. 106.1 ESPN Richmond is where Richmond talks sports. Want your brand in the mix? Advertise with us today. Call 804-330-5700 or email espnrva@summitmediacorp.com.
Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. Brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad
Bull Rush ESPN Studio. Learn more at bullrush.com/ESPN. W291CL Lakeside Richmond. WURV HD2 Richmond. We are 106.1 ESPN. You're listening to the second hour of Fitz the Bill on 106.1 ESPN.
Welcome in hour number 2 of Fitz the Bill on this Wednesday, August 13th morning. It is Richmond Race Week. Appreciate you clocking in, getting your day started with us. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Allen alongside here from the Bull Rush Studios in the capital of the Commonwealth. And we are joined now by Chase Briscoe as he's getting ready for the Richmond race this weekend. Chase, thank you so much for taking some time out of your morning to chat with us about the upcoming race and the final 2 races of the regular season in the Cup Series.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Looking forward to getting up there this weekend. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Saturday night racing at Richmond. Can you kind of walk us through what makes night racing at Richmond, but just kind of in general, so special, especially at a short track?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like, just Saturday night under the lights, that's just how it should be at Richmond. As a kid, I remember just always watching it there. And, yeah, just the atmosphere and the electricity is just different, I feel like, at night, especially just short track racing. There's just a different element and feel to it. The crowd just seems to be a little more into it for whatever reason, and just the excitement level's up, and it just feels like one of those, prime time events just because you are racing under the lights. So, yeah, definitely, excited to get up there this weekend, and, sounds like it's going to be a massive crowd there, too, which is it's really, really cool. So, yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Racing at night, the track is a little bit different, and, the sparks are flying. Like, just the visuals and everything is just different, I feel like, at a night race. So, yeah, definitely should be an awesome one, and looking forward to it.
Chase Briscoe, driver of the number 19 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota, joining us on this Wednesday morning. You kind of hit on it where night racing brings out a different side of the track that you might not necessarily get when it's a hot August afternoon. How does the coolness of night racing impact the track itself and impact your racing style on the track?
yeah, the temperature is important everywhere we go, just from a track grip standpoint. But Richmond is probably one of the most sensitive places that we go, just from a temperature standpoint. The cooler that is outside, typically the more grip the racetrack has. And Richmond has this just a massive swing, in lap time and grip. If we were to go there on Friday and practice kind of in the middle of the day, and then go race the next day at night, lap times would be probably almost a half second different, just because of how much more grip the racetrack has at night. So that changes the lanes a little bit, makes it a little bit more difficult sometimes to make passes and things, just because everybody's car drives a little bit different or a little bit better, and that's typically where you see guys start using the bumper more and things like that. So yeah, I just feel like, especially at Richmond, just the nighttime racing, just it's better overall experience for all of us. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it, and it should be really good.
I'm always interested because short track racing kind of is different than every other track. Every track brings its own kind of style of racing. Where does short track racing rank among your favorite styles?
Yeah, it's definitely up there. It honestly comes down to, for me at least, my car. I don't really have a preference of one way or the other. They're all fun if your car's fast. So, yeah, I definitely think that, for us this weekend, Richmond, for Joe Gibbs Racing especially, has been a great place. For myself personally, it's not been the greatest place. So, yeah, I'm excited, this weekend just to see finally what a Joe Gibbs Racing car drives like around there. I've obviously raced against them my entire career and seen the speed they have, and just excited to kind of see where that's at. Like I said, Richmond's not been my favorite racetrack because it's been a huge struggle, but I feel like, hopefully after this weekend with, the performance difference, it'll quickly turn into one of my favorites and even one of my favorite short tracks. So, yeah, I've always enjoyed short track racing. Just, you're always around somebody. When you go to some of these mile-and-a-half racetracks, there's times of the race where you almost feel like you're by yourself out there just because you're not really racing around anybody, where at a short track, especially Richmond, this weekend, there's not going to be a lap in the race where I'm not around somebody or racing somebody. So it's just a lot of fun from the driver's side.
Chase Briscoe, driver, the number 19 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota, joining us on this Wednesday morning. Chase, you mentioned it, where Richmond has been a bit of a problem for you. 8 starts, no top 10s. What has it been about this track that hasn't lent itself to success for you?
I don't know. I've just honestly kind of felt like a fish out of water every time I go there. It's just been a track where I don't know if it's my driving style or my technique just doesn't really match what the racetrack needs or something. But yeah, it's definitely been a place that's been a massive struggle for me just from a performance standpoint. Just there's other tracks I feel like I've made gains on that I wasn't necessarily good at. In Richmond, I feel like I've definitely made some gains compared to when I started going there, but still have a long way to go. So yeah, hopefully this week I can make bigger gains. Like I said, being in a different race car with Joe Gibbs Racing, I think is going to be a really big difference. But I still have to do my job, inside the car with the pedals and everything with the wheel and just the technique that it takes to go around Richmond. And I've been doing a lot of work on the simulator, all throughout the week, and even last week. I'm actually headed there now to do another 4 hours on the simulator, just trying to be as best prepared as I can for this weekend.
What does simulator work look like? Is it like a really souped up video game where you're like in a fake car where you're feeling everything?
Yeah, there's kind of different types. So we have 2 for us. We have one that kind of like a static is what we call it, where it doesn't move. It's almost just like a, not a desk, but it's like a, almost like a gaming chair with a steering wheel and 3 monitors around you. And that one does not move, but it still gives you a really good idea of kind of what your car is going to do. And then we have another one that's actually like a full-blown car you sit in. The whole thing's moving the whole time. The screen wraps literally all the way around the car. We have tens of millions invested in the simulators, so they're a huge tool for us. Now with kind of how we've been after COVID, we only get 20 minutes of practice every single week. So for us, at the racetrack, you don't really get a lot of laps. And even when you're there, you're kind of limited on what you can do with the setups. The simulators turn into this massive tool that every team uses. And, having a good simulator program and being able to show up to the racetrack every single weekend and be prepared and have a general idea of what the car is going to drive like, and even a setup. It's a huge difference in our performance every week.
Chase Briscoe, driver the number 19 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota, joining us on this Wednesday morning. Chase, these last couple of weeks, you've been on a pretty impressive hot streak. Over the last 5 weeks, 4 top fives, 3 second-place finishes. Has something clicked over the last month or so in that car that has gotten you to the front? What has clicked there for you?
Yeah, I think, a lot of things, really the first part of the season, coming to a new team and a new organization, it took me a little bit of time to even have an understanding of how to drive their cars. Their setups are different. The feel of the race car was totally different. And even the capability and performance was just so much greater than what I was used to in my career that it was kind of a struggle just trying to realize that I could drive the car as hard as they allow you to drive them. And then I would say around the end of May, kind of around Coke 600, it kind of just slowly started to click with me, and I felt like the results started coming more and more often. And then we were able to win. Ever since then, we've just been on this great streak of runs of being consistently one of the best cars and battling up front and being in the mix to win these races. And it's definitely been, a lot of fun. And feel like as a race team, we still have a lot we can do better. I mean, I would say that all of us agree that we're not even close to what we feel like our max is. So that's really encouraging that we've been able to be, as strong as we have. Only, I think this is race 24 of the year or something like that. And this is only our 24th race even working together. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. But, yeah, this last month and a half has really been really good for our race team. And hopefully we can just continue that on. We have 2 weeks to the playoffs, and then the playoffs start, and that's when you really want to be running good. So hopefully we can just continue this on.
Chase Briscoe joining us. And Chase, you've mentioned it a couple times where this is your first year with JGR after you spent a couple of seasons with Stewart-Haas Racing. You took over for Martin Truex Jr. in that number 19. What has that process been like, taking over for a driver like Martin Truex Jr. in his number 19 car? Now you're making it your own. You found that success. What has that process been like from the start of the season to now?
Yeah, it's always tough. Anytime you take over, for a guy, especially, Martin's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but just in general, a guy that, had success and one of the fan favorites, I've been fortunate to, take over for Martin, but even at Stewart-Haas, taking over for Clint, Clint was another guy that, is just extremely well liked. So, the fan base, whenever you come in, they have these expectations of what you should be. And I think for me, it's been, honestly, a lot of fun to get over to JGR and kind of doing my own thing and, having a lot of fans kind of convert over. It seems like every single weekend I've had people come up to me and tell me they were lifelong Martin fans. They've decided to stick around and see how it is. So, yeah, it's been good. And just from a pressure standpoint, going over to JGR has definitely been different. Just the expectation is to win every single weekend. And, truthfully, at Stewart-Haas, that wasn't necessarily the expectation every week. So just having that mindset difference, it has taken me, I would say, the first couple, months or into the season just to realize the culture change. It was just a very eye-opening experience going from Stewart-Haas, where we wanted to win, but we knew realistically our chances of winning a lot of the time wasn't really there, to now going to Joe Gibbs Racing, where the expectation is to win and to win by as much as possible every single week. And that did take a little bit of time to get acclimated to after being at a different culture for so long. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun now that I kind of got used to it and kind of understand the environment.
So has Martin Truex Jr. shared any pointers with you for Richmond this weekend? Because in his career, I think he led over 1,500 laps at this track. Has he given you a call and given you any pointers for how to attack it maybe a little differently in your number 19 Toyota?
No, I actually haven't talked to Martin. He's off fishing, I think, every single day. That guy is hard to get a hold of. But definitely, my race team, is still the same team that that Martin had from the crew chief all the way down. So they have a really good understanding of kind of setup-wise what to do, but even just from a driving style and technique. I was talking earlier how I'm going to the simulator and trying to learn techniques, do different things, and that's really all I've done this past week is watch Martin Truex data and videos and trying to just replicate as much as I can of his driving style, because certainly what he's done there has been really, really successful. So, yeah, hopefully I can do it right, because, like you said, he's had a ton of success there. And, what he does there has always kind of worked, and certainly from a setup standpoint and how he drives it works. So we'll try to, replicate him the best I can this week.
Chase, thank you so much for your time today. We look forward to seeing how you perform at Richmond on Saturday night under the lights. Good luck this weekend and have fun in the simulator.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
There goes Chase Briscoe, driver of the number 19 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota. As he's taken over for Martin Truex Jr. this season, has had a lot of success. A win at Pocono earlier this year, and over the last 5 weeks, 4 top fives, 3 second-place finishes. He was talking about it, but things are starting to click there for Joe Gibbs Racing and that number 19 Toyota with Chase at the wheel, and lot of success looking to try and break through and get his first win, heck, his first top 10 at Richmond this weekend. He's got the car, he's got the setup, he's got the history in that number 19 car to do it, as Martin Truex Jr. was a dominant racer at Richmond. Over 1,500 career laps led for him. So appreciate Chase Briscoe for taking some time out of his Wednesday morning to chat with us, catch up before he sits into the simulator, get some hours in there before he gets up here later this weekend for the race on Saturday night at Richmond Raceway. Super excited for that. A weekend full of racing everything. You got the ARCA series, you got the truck series, I believe on Friday night as well. A ton is happening this weekend over at the Richmond Raceway. You can get tickets. Urge everyone to get tickets because it's going to be a fun time tailgating the race itself. If you've never been to a NASCAR race, it is, dare I say, best sporting event you can attend.
From what perspective? In general, or like the fan perspective?
From the overall day experience perspective.
Yeah, I think NASCAR does a great job of making it interactive for fans. Like, you're engaged. Where like football games, baseball games, things like that, you don't necessarily get as much engagement from the fan perspective.
Because football, what happens when they go to commercial break? Nothing.
Baseball.
Nothing. Baseball too. It's between
maybe you get a little troll on the big screen, but that's about it.
And then in NASCAR, you know what happens when they go to commercial break? They're still racing.
Yeah.
So you are getting a look that no one else is getting except for however many people are at the raceway. And that makes it super fun because it's just so different. Every other sport stops for commercial breaks. NASCAR, they can't throw the yellow and just bring them down.
It's the city's chance to be on the national scene, right?
Yeah, and it worked out well for them last year.
Yeah, last year Richmond was front and center of Sports Center and every major sporting news outlet for at least 4 days.
4 days.
Yeah.
That was fun. And hopefully Joey Logano was on the show yesterday, was telling us how that softer compound that Austin Dillon and Daniel Suarez used last season when they had the option tires, that's going to be their tire, their first choice tire for all drivers. Goodyear's worked with it. They've kind of figured out what that compound is, a couple tweaks here and there. But that's going to be the tire they use. So hopefully that brings a lot more passing, a lot more rubbing, a lot more just kind of old school short track racing back to Richmond under the lights. Briscoe brought it up too. You get the sparks going. You get the vibe, the smell of it. I mean, I love a good NASCAR race. All right, you want a shot at $50,000 in cold hard cash? Well, Bull Rush just dropped a new sports comp, the NFL Survivor. You can join now at bullrush.com/ESPN. The total prize pool is a massive $100,000. First place gets $50,000 straight up. Think you got the picks to survive 20 weeks? Join now, bullrush.com/ESPN.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Big year. I'm starting middle school.
Welcome to the jungle, Missy.
Best part? My parents promised me a new laptop.
Perfect for homework, essays, and drudgery.
So we went to Staples. They had all the latest tech, and laptops were up to 40% off.
Woo! Another back-to-school budget saved by Staples Easy Button.
Mom high-fived the cashier. So embarrassing.
Staples.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. In 23 select models only.
If you have back-to-school shopping to do, then you should make Macy's your first stop, because Macy's has back-to-school styles from brands like Nike and Jordan, must-have denim from Levi's and Good American, and now Macy's has Abercrombie Kids too. It's all in one place, all at great prices. And here's another reason to come in. If you're already at Macy's and you saved so much, you could stop by the fragrance counter and pick up something for yourself too. The best back-to-school styles are here now at Macy's.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed early bird special $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Seminars Thursday, August 21st at the Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons, Glen Allen. Weight loss seminar 5:30, stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. And Saturday, August 23rd, Hilton Garden Inn, Colonial Heights. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m., stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Registration 30 minutes before or sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Lennox dealer. Online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
JMU Nation, mark your calendar. Talkin' Dukes goes live Wednesday, August 20th from Draftcade and Short Pump. Join Matt Josephs and Jack Fitzpatrick for the only show in Richmond dedicated to JMU athletics. Tap into the purple and gold spirit with alumni, fans, and food at Draftcade, 106.1 ESPN, where Richmond talks JMU.
The countdown to kickoff is on.
Here come the Spiders, and they've got a quarterback sack. This will be Camden Bird.
King has running room. He bursts to the outside, and he's on his way. He's going to go in for the Spider touchdown. Richmond football is ready to run it back. Now in a new league. The season starts with a Patriot League showdown of defending conference champs and playoff teams. At Lehigh, Saturday, August 30th, 11:30 pregame, noon kick. Catch all the action all season long on the home of the Spiders, 106.1 ESPN.
I gotta wait. I forgot how long it takes for them to say the word.
It takes a long time.
All right, well, we're going to be here for a long time. While we're waiting, coming up in about 10 minutes, Charles Scott, head coach of Huguenot High School, will be joining us as we continue our 8:04 high school football previews, talking all things Huguenot Falcons as... There we go. Going to need some tequila as we parse through the Commanders' camp updates because, oh, man, we saw Terry McLaurin spotted talking with Adam Peters, and Commanders' Twitter went up in arms, had an absolute frenzy with that one.
I mean, that's more progress than the Cowboys have right now.
Yeah, that's true. More progress. It's also more progress than the Commanders have had for quite some time when it comes to Terry McLaurin. However, this is how I imagine the conversation to go. Adam walks up to Terry. Hey, Terry, how you doing?
I
Good,
think
Adam.
Terry approached Adam.
You
Where's
think
my
so?
money?
I don't think so.
I'm joking.
I think it was Adam said to Terry, hey, how we doing? Good. All right, what'd you have for breakfast? Cheerios. Cool. Yeah, so what do you think about the team?
All right, I'm gonna stop you there. Terry's not a Cheerio guy. No way.
You think Honey Bunches of Oats?
I don't even think he's
Fruit Loops?
He's
No,
probably
he's probably like
got
bacon
some
and eggs.
Yeah, he's probably got like a real meal.
All right.
He seems like a structured gentleman.
Seems like he has a personal chef who makes him breakfast every morning.
Probably.
The worst Commander Cup camp update that I saw from yesterday, Jaden Daniels has reportedly had the worst practice in his career, which is super funny because scrolling through Twitter yesterday, you see a tweet. Talking with Mike Sando, Jaden Daniels is the highest-rated second-year quarterback ever in his athletic quarterback tier list and the highest-rated Washington Commander quarterback ever. And then the next tweet you see, Jaden Daniels sucks. Bro, we need to... That's all. Just reportedly the worst practice in his career. I don't care. Because you know what that is? We're talking about practice. We need that Allen Iverson clip. What are you talking about? Practice, man.
I'll reach out to his people, see if we can get it
live, cut live, recut. But like, he's probably practicing a new thing. Someone was tweeting. I forget which reporter it was, and I apologize for whatever reporter I'm referencing that I'm not citing directly. It's one of the Commanders reporters, and they're like, sub 50% completion percentage, and a majority of those passes were screens or close to the line of scrimmage. That doesn't mean they're easier to complete.
Yeah.
Like, they're probably are installing new plays, trying new things out, and it will come with some learning. There will be a curve to it, and it probably won't look great the first time they're running against defense. Also, just talking to coaches, defenses typically are ahead of schedule in training camps compared to the offense because defense is a lot more reactionary.
Yeah.
So when you play defense, it's see ball, hit ball, get ball. With the offense, you're actually having to learn and figure things out. So, oh no, Jaden Daniels, he has his worst practice in his career. What are we going to do? Chill and be excited for week 1 when he's going to go out there and ball out against the Giants?
Yeah, there's a lot of timing involved, especially when we're talking about the passing game. I am still very happy to hear that Trey Amos is exceeding expectations and ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Because it really will help that defense be a little bit more versatile in how they can attack opposing offenses. If they have a guy they can depend on to consistently cover the best player on the other team. And I'm not taking a shot at Lattimore, but Lattimore can essentially maybe get a little bit more flexibility to move around too. But it seems like Amos is establishing himself as one of the premier rookie cornerbacks. So
yeah, and it slots everyone in where they need to go, where Jonathan Jones is now kind of that cornerback 3. Your slot corner is Sanderstrill, so he can play where he's more useful, because at times last year he was forced to be kind of a outside corner, which isn't necessarily his game. Noah Igbenogany.
Yeah, Igbenogany.
He's now kind of slotted in where I think everyone can play their preferred spot and play a little bit better.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do Monday. I gotta keep reminding myself it's Monday night. Monday night against the Bengals, predominantly again on the defensive side, because the Bengals have said they're going to play more of their starters during the preseason.
Well, they got to, because according to D. Higgins, it's not a real narrative.
But I'm excited to see how they stand up, at least for the first series against Burrow, Chase, and Higgins.
Maybe the biggest news that's come out of Commanders camp that is worthwhile: Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt wants to go by Bill.
Go by Bill? Yeah. I think Jordan told me that when I was on vacation.
He texted
I have to
us
remember that. It's kind of a
you go from a cool name in Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, and you want to be called Bill Merritt. That takes away a lot of cool points from him.
I was raised to call you whatever you want to be called, man.
Hey, you're right. But I'm just saying, Ja'Cory sounds a lot better than Bill.
Yeah, it does. But
like running down the sideline is Ja'Cory. Running down the sideline is Bill. Also, who in their 20s decides to go by Bill?
I don't know, but
even Williams decide to go by Will.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it came from. Maybe I'll ask him.
Yeah, I got to figure out where. I think it was a nickname he was given when he was growing up, and he was just like, I want to continue with that.
I just want to keep reminding people he's only a 7th round pick because the NCAA kind of screwed him over a little bit. But I think he'll be an impact player. I wouldn't be shocked if he really does take Robinson's position at some point as far as the reps go, at some point during the season, as long as he stays healthy, right? Because all things even, everybody's healthy. I think he's the best running back on that roster.
I think I would not be shocked. Let me just take out "I think" from that sentence. I would not be shocked if Eckler ends up getting cut.
Yeah, I think they keep Eckler just because the skill set, especially around the red zone. I think he can still be a big asset there. And I think Krosky Merritt or Bill is going to be the inside the tackle / primary running back. The first, second, maybe potentially a couple third downs. But the skill set of Eckler makes him invaluable for the Commanders, especially once they get around the red zone. Because last year, there were still moments, even though they were a prolific scoring offense over the course of the season, there were still moments where they had to settle for field goals and things like that, and he gives them some versatility back there. So I think his roster spot is set.
Yeah.
They'll probably carry 3 backs.
I was thinking 100% because
they have to.
Now the question is who's the 4th or maybe even 5th, because you got Jeremy McNichols, Chris Rodriguez got some time last year. You got a couple other guys in there. So
I want to say they prefer McNichols because of his explosion.
He's a good receiving back too.
Yeah.
But you know who we need to create? Bill Nye the Science Guy?
Yeah.
We could figure out a way to make it Bill McCroskey Merritt.
We'll come up with a good nickname.
Bill Nye the Science. Bill Krosky Merritt. There we go. All right.
What did you call? You said Caleb Johnson yesterday for the marriage of the coach and the quarterback. Caleb Johnson.
You said Caleb Johnson. I said, what about Ben Williams?
All right. We'll come up with something.
We're working things. This is what preseason is for. It's for figuring out the nicknames and figuring out the ways we can refer to them. I think Bill Crosby Merritt, we got to shoehorn Bill Nye the Science Guy into that, because that might be the last famous Bill that I can recall.
And I know fans are worried about the offense. I'm still not too concerned with the offense just yet. I would need to see actual games before I get concerned, because there were times last year where he didn't have Terry, statistically speaking. He was on the field, but they didn't use him, and he didn't have a running game, and they still found ways to score points and move the ball.
Cliff is a good offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
not a great head coach, good offensive coordinator.
Yeah, so I'm not overly concerned just yet.
Yeah.
Especially with practice updates. As long as people stay healthy at this point, take it as a win.
And Terry will be playing week 1,
whether
or not he gets an extension.
The special teams was an issue. That's unacceptable.
Will be an issue. Got to lock that one down.
That's unacceptable. I'll give him that.
All right, let's get a break in here. On the other side, Charles Scott, head football coach of Huguenot High School, will be joining us as we continue our 804 high school football previews right on the other side of this break.
It's bow time. Sure, you've had a sausage biscuit before, but have you had the smoked sausage biscuit from Bojangles? Well, now is your chance. Juicy, slow-cooked smoked sausage is grilled to perfection and served on a fluffy, made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit. No one does breakfast like Bojangles, and this smoked sausage biscuit doesn't disappoint. Right now, you can get 2 for just $5. Start your day with this flavor-packed deal while it lasts. It's bow time.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed early bird special $49.99. Seminars Thursday, August 21st. Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons, Glen Allen. Weight loss 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking 8 p.m. Or Saturday, August 23rd. Hilton Garden Inn, Colonial Heights. Weight loss 11 a.m. Stop smoking 2 p.m.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Bob Black's here to get you through the wait, whether it's hoops, gridiron, or on the diamond. 4 to 6 p.m. never sounded this smooth. Let's ride home with the voice of the Richmond Spiders.
Welcome back into Fitz the Bill on this Wednesday, August 13th morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick, Allen alongside. And we're joined now by Charles Scott, head football coach of Huguenot High School on this Wednesday morning. Coach Scott, thank you so much for taking some time out of your morning to chat with us.
Yes, sir. How you doing this morning?
Doing well, doing well. Want to know, how's camp going? How's it all going with the heat and getting ready for that week 1 game in just over 2 weeks?
Camp is going great. We haven't got hit with the heat. I mean, maybe the last 2 days were probably the hottest days of camp. But other than that, we've been doing well. Haven't got really hit with the heat, so it's been pretty good.
So with that game out 2 weeks or so away against St. Christopher's, what are the expectations around the team heading into that game?
And the expectations are obviously to start the season on a winning streak. Obviously, go 1-0. You know, as everybody's saying nowadays, 1-0 every week, obviously. But just to execute, man. Just to work on, continues to execute well, and that's really the goal, is to execute at a high clip. Obviously, our goal is when we go back and grade film, as we want to grade as many A's as possible on film. Obviously, it's hard to do that, but that's the goal. So we're shooting for that goal. So everybody's grading out at a 90 or better. That means we probably executed pretty well that week.
What's been standing out about your team so far in camp?
Man, obviously team speed, man. We're a very fast team. Obviously running the same system we ran the last couple of years, so it hasn't been a lot of the learning curve hasn't been crazy. Obviously we introduced a new quarterback, but at the end of the day, he's been in the system pretty much his whole life. So really, man, we're just a really fast team. Defense is gonna be fast and violent. Offense is gonna be fast and explosive. So I love our team speed. Our off-season program was great. We definitely got bigger, stronger, and we got faster. I thought we were fast last year, but I think we're really, really fast this year.
Charles Scott, head football coach of Huguenot High School, joining us on this Wednesday morning. Coach Scott, talk a little bit more about that quarterback position. You said first-year starter. How is that coming along with the system, with a guy who's been there before, but maybe first year having the pressure and expectations of being the starter?
Well, I mean, one of the things about it, he's a leader, obviously in stature, but definitely leads the team as well. I don't think it's going to be a big curve for him. It's a guy who has been playing high school for 2 years. And you got to remember, he played high school as an 8th grader. Then he played again last year as a 9th grader. As a starter, starting games he started, he's 19-0 in high school. So he knows how to win. The guys believe in him. They trust him. We practice together as far as varsity and JV. So you got to think he's been practicing with varsity guys as an 8th grader too. So again, just the way we do things, we practice JV and varsity. We practice together. So at the end of the day, the trust is there, the leadership is there, and I think he's kind of chomping at the bit to kind of to show what he can do.
Yeah, last year you guys, Max Preps had you ranked as the 15th best team in Virginia, one of the highest rankings in program history, one of the highest rankings for schools around the Richmond area. With a new quarterback there and everything, but it seems like there's a lot of expected greatness with this team. How do you make sure that you stay near the top and then also keep growing and pushing forward?
Well, I invest a lot in the youth, and like I said, my JV practices with us, so you got to think they're getting the same level of coaching that a varsity program will get. They're not, on the side 5 fields over where you can barely see them and you don't know what's going on with them. So I definitely understand that the young guys are the future of the program, but we also, are invested in the guys that's right now. So for me, I always tell my guys, let's do this for your seniors. Because your seniors don't have next year, you know what I'm saying? So let's do this for your seniors. So that's kind of how we do it. But again, we invest in the young guys as well.
Charles Scott, head football coach of Huguenot High School, joining us this morning. Coach Scott, take us back a little bit. Is the investment in the youth been the key to that turnaround? Because in 21 and 22, I think this team had a combined 2 wins over those 2 seasons. Since then, 19 wins combined in 23 and 24. Has been that investment in the youth the key to that turnaround that you guys have seen at Huguenot?
I think so, because when we came in, we started a lot of young guys. So now we have juniors now who's been starting since we got there. So that means they were 2-year starters. This will be their 3rd year starting. I wasn't afraid to play the young guys. I had some of the guys that obviously played with me in youth ball, so they kind of knew how I coached and what the expectations would be. And they kind of knew the system, so that helped with the transition for sure. But again, we're not scared to play young guys, and we'll definitely do that. We're going to play the best guys for sure. So I think that's one of the keys, absolutely.
So getting those players in your system that are now going into being a 3rd-year starter, how important is that experience at the high school level? Because in college, you've got NIL, you've got the transfer portal, you've got all that. But in high school, you've got them for 4 years, that's it. How important is it to have a team of guys that have experience, that have been starters, that know the culture, that know all of that?
Well, it's big time, and it helps with, like you said, even games like going into week 1 and St. Christopher, things like that. The guys know how to prepare. They know what their favorite meal the night before is. They know what they like to do. They have their routine set. So you don't get a lot of that nervous energy. It's more of excitement instead of being nervous. You see what I'm saying? So I think that experience that they have will go a long way because, again, they've done it for the past couple of years. So, like I said, going into this year, it's more excitement and anticipation instead of nervousness and unsureness.
Coach, I got to know, are you the superstitious type? Do you have the same meal? You said your players, they know what they like to have the night before and everything. Do you kind of fit in that routine as well? Are you superstitious with what you got to have the night before the day of game and everything like that?
I'm not really superstitious in that way. I kind of do the same thing, every game day. I go to the barbershop in the morning. Then I go to lunch, whether it be with my offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, some of my coaches. I go to lunch, take me a little nap, and then head on to the field.
I love it. Charles Scott, head football coach of Huguenot High School, joining us on this Wednesday morning. Coach Scott, kind of overall with Richmond City, they took a pretty big step forward in football. Armstrong, y'all, TJ. What do you think the reason was for those schools and for Richmond City itself taking a pretty substantial step forward in terms of success on the football field?
Yeah, well, you touched on it earlier. What you see is an investment in the youth programs, man. There's a lot of good investment in the kids, and when they're sending them up, they're already prepared. They have a good foundation, should I say. So I think that's what you're seeing. You're starting to see some of the hard work of these youth football programs and youth football coaches starting to trickle in into the city schools.
And how important do you think it is for Richmond City kind of as a whole to have competitive football teams year in and year out? I know you aren't all in the same division, the same region and things of that sort, but how important for Richmond City itself to have successful programs in the city?
It's important because, again, it's about community and community pride. And like I said, you might have heard me say before, I'm really big on energy. A good football program can bring positive energy into an entire community. So then when you talk about crime or violence and things like that, there's always much research that's been done that, if you got good football programs and the community is feeling their way, then all of those numbers decline.
Charles Scott, head football coach of Huguenot High School, joining us. Coach Scott, looking at the schedule this year, you got St. Chris first, but a pretty impressive schedule from there on out. How'd you put it together? How are you feeling about it in terms of the tests it's going to provide your team week in and week out as you look ahead to the playoffs?
Well, the thing about it is I wish I could put it together more, but I don't. We're in the old school Dominion district, so I have 9 games that's locked on my schedule every year that I can't change. I have to play those same 9 games every year, so I have one game that I have a little leeway with, and like I said, this year was St. Christopher. But the thing about it is our district is tough, so at the end of the day, it gets us prepared for the playoffs.
Coach, thank you so much for taking some time out of your Wednesday morning, chat a little bit about Huguenot High School. Good luck this season. Excited to see what you guys do in week 1 against St. Christopher.
I appreciate it.
There goes head coach Charles Scott of Huguenot High School. As they were ranked 15th by Max Preps last season. At the end of last season, one of the top numbers in the Richmond area, 15th best team in Virginia. That was the best ranking in program history. He talked about it. I mean, a great job from Coach Scott in turning around Huguenot. 21 and 22, they had a combined 2 wins. Since then, they had 11 wins last year. They fell to Varina in the playoffs. In 2023, they had 8 wins, fell to Varina in the playoffs. Seems like the next step for him is getting over Varina in the playoffs and doing that. But a great turnaround at Huguenot by head coach Charles Scott.
Yeah, and one of the things that he talked about and hinted to is something that I think has benefited the city and just the football teams and as a whole around here is the investment in the youth programs. I think it was Lord Botetourt, which is a county probably people that are not familiar with. But hold on,
I'm familiar. Right. Zach Horton,
right,
JMU, great tight end out Indiana.
So Lord Botetourt, my cousin is she's basically engaged to one of the coach's son, and I say all that to say they have a machine in Lord Botetourt where from literally pee-wee football you are taught the basic plays of their high school. So by the time you get to high school, you have been doing their playbook for over a decade. So when they hit high school, imagine how evolved that system is, how evolved those players are. And that is why growing up, like it was such an overwhelming program that in my small county, we developed that. Like we had 2 little league teams, the Wolverines and the Bruins, and we all ran wing T because Lord Botetourt, whatever their system was, everybody ran it as a kid. And they got to high school, they were grown men basically by that time. and it worked for so much success. Now, granted, it's hard to do that in a city with so many schools like we have. But imagine the advantage Coach Scott has when he gets a quarterback that he's been knowing and working with since he was a young, like a really, really young kid, and get him in this, like you're hitting the ground running. So I'm glad to see that people have, kind of picked up on that. A lot of the, Texas, Florida schools, those Damascus or whatever their name is, Damatha, whatever, down in Texas, like those kids have been doing those systems and things since they were basically babies. They were bred in it. So it's easy to be successful, or easier to be successful when you get to that level.
I do like how he's like, our quarterback or his first year starting at the varsity level, and then I ask about him, he's like, oh, well, he is 19-0 in high school technically because he started 2 years at JV, and it's like, oh.
Experience helps so much at that level.
Well, so it's tough, too, because, like, I alluded to it in one of the questions where high school football it's 4 years, man. Like, you got them for 4 years. You got to figure out what to do. There's no transfer portal. You get what you get. You don't throw a fit, and you kind of build it from there.
7-on-7 is helping a ton, too.
Yeah, a ton, because now it's year-round football.
Yeah, now it's year-round, and you're experiencing different levels of competition that you typically wouldn't get when you basically stay local. Because heck, even our local teams are getting out to like places like Atlanta, DC, et cetera, in these bigger tournaments, and it's helping.
UVA.
Yeah.
Who was it that was out of UVA?
That was Manchester.
Yeah, Manchester was out at UVA doing all that stuff.
Lighting them up, which is great. Again, I think there's no way to really quantify how important that is, but the understanding of that is a good basis to build you a good system.
Yeah, and Huguenot, high expectations again going into this. Like, just an impressive turnaround, too. And it starts from investment in the kids at a young age.
Love the routine, too. Got to get the haircut.
That was another thing. Do you have a routine? No, I just do the same thing every week. Coach,
you got to.
Coach, I'm so sorry to tell you. I think you're a little stitious. I think you're a little stitious.
I was superstitious for sure.
I'm a fan of the Seahawks, right? I'll say that. I'm not sure if a radio host is supposed to say that, but I'll say that.
No, you're fine.
If they go down like 14-0, I will switch seats on the couch.
Yeah.
If they haven't scored in the first half, I will switch jerseys. I'm just like, something's got to change, and it's up to me in Richmond, Virginia, for what they are doing in Seattle, Washington.
That's the best part of the fan experience. And high school fandom is probably more passionate than collegiate fandom, honestly, because so many people have ties into the local community, whereas you're a Seahawks fan or you're a fan of Texas, but you've never been to the school, you've never been to the area. It's a little different. But if you went to Huguenot, like you root for Huguenot.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I think I've become more of a college football fan since going to college, because I have a connection to JMU. I feel like I was like with the NFL. I try not to use the word we when we talk about it, because I'm not part of the Seahawks. I really contribute nothing to the overall success of that team. But when I talk about, I try not to do it. I try to take that JMU hat off. But when I'm in like the fandom craze, I'll say we, and I feel okay with it because my student fees paid for a lot of that school.
You're
a lot of
come
their
in
success.
tomorrow. Half your face is going to be purple. The other half is going to be
working in media has changed.
You gotta have a purple shirt on.
Maybe I'll wear my JMU polo, the polo that I golf in.
I'll be the impartial JMU person.
I will be very impartial. I'm an impartial. Look, I've gotten into some trouble because of my impartiality.
I know.
People don't like hearing the truth, and I'm here to dish out the truth. Alonzo Barnett will not play week 1. That's the truth.
I would recommend he not play.
He tore his ACL on November 30th.
I would recommend he not.
And probably didn't have surgery until the first or second week of December. He's not Adrian Peter. All right, whatever. Let's get a break in here. Our final break of this Wednesday. Step aside, be back to wrap up Fitz the Bill.
Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling has expert technicians plus industry-leading Lennox equipment. To learn more, visit HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
Looking for the perfect golf course? Check out RVA's best-kept secret, Queenfield Golf Club, just a few minutes past Mechanicsville. Reserve your tee time today at QueenfieldGolf.com.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So I thought, that's not even a week's worth of smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. You know, my friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof, and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking without cravings, irritability, or weight gain. Early bird special, only $49.99 guaranteed. Don't just cut down, but stop smoking once and for all, or your money back. Seminar 8 p.m. on Thursday, August 21st at the Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons in Glen Allen, or 2 p.m. on Saturday, August 23rd at the Hilton Garden Inn in Colonial Heights. Registration 30 minutes before seminar. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
This is Greg Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory. Looking for a more natural way to sleep? Our orthopedic natural mattresses combine our legendary quality with nature's finest materials. We hand build each mattress using renewable materials like cotton, wool, and natural latex, creating a luxury sleep experience that's as good for the planet as it is for you. Visit one of our showrooms to try them out in person, or visit originalmattress.com to learn more. The Original Mattress Factory. Sleep better, naturally.
Wrap up your workday with Matt Josephs and Bob Black from 3 until 6 p.m. Live interviews, breaking news, and real talk about Richmond sports. Your business can be part of the conversation. Own the afternoon on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, where Richmond talks sports. Call 804-330-5700 or email espnrva@summitmediacorp.com.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. Alan alongside as we wrap up this Wednesday midweek edition of Fitz the Bill. We're live from the Bull Rush Studios here in the capital of the Commonwealth. And it's time to ask a very important question.
Yeah. Are you getting in the contest, and can we be opposite of one another? I don't want to play with you.
All right. I mean, I was getting in the contest, and yeah, we can play separately.
Good.
If that's what you mean.
Yeah, we're not going to do a Fitz the Bill. We're going to do a host-producer thing. After you switched up on my boy Chris and the Raiders, I can't trust you.
All right, we'll see who's lifting up the grand prize at the end.
Dude,
all I'm saying.
I know this is obviously probably not the direction you were going in, but Survivor contests are so
stressful.
Yes, so stressful.
It's slightly different than a typical Survivor, where it's essentially like you're just betting. You get like your cash pool.
Yeah.
And then the top 80%, who I think are the most I have to reread the rules. They explained it to me, and it made a lot of sense. But it's not like you can't now pick that team again. So it's essentially like the top bettors every week advance, and it's a new slate every time.
So it's crazy. I find that in contests where I can't go back and pick another team,
you do better.
Yes, because the thing is, when you get a team on a streak or you win with the team, you get so comfortable you want to go back, and it tempts you. But the NFL, nobody goes undefeated, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the more you roll the dice there, at some point you're going to lose. At some point,
and it's going to be when you least expect it.
At some point, the 0-15 team is going to be 1-16. Or
at some point, the Raiders will get a win.
Yeah. I didn't want to go there with the Raiders.
I'm kidding, Chris. I am kidding, Chris.
But yeah, that I remember. I will say specifically, last year was rough. I did the professional contest right when I started a couple years ago here.
Yeah.
So I went to Vegas, signed up for all that stuff, and I forgot what the upset was, but like 80% of the contest was out in week one because I think like maybe the Ravens or somebody lost their first game. Matter of fact, last year it was the Patriots and Bengals. The Patriots and Bengals got a lot of people hemmed up because the Patriots won that first game.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful.
Here's the thing with the Bengals. Never pick them until it's week 6.
That is so true.
Despite what T. Higgins will try to sell you, do not buy his snake oil.
Yeah,
I don't believe that
so
narrative. T, you guys stink in the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season. Do not bet on the Bengals until week 6.
But I have more fun with Survivor than I do the Super Contest. And I love the Super Contest. But Survivor is...
I've never entered either one.
Oh, man. Well, stick with me. We're going places.
Hey, we're going to win that 50 grand, 50 large. It's a massive prize pool, though, of over $100,000. First place gets 50 grand, and then the rest of that 50,000 gets split up among the runners-up in the contest as well. You can sign up at bullrush.com/ESPN. 20 weeks. Think you've got the picks to survive? Prove it. bullrush.com/ESPN. That makes me think, and this is me just speaking out loud here. I was thinking of doing a fantasy football Fitz the Bill league. Doing like a Fitz the Bill fantasy football type of thing.
Like the bracket thing?
No, just like gets people, whoever signs up, make it a 12-team league. Get the first 12 people who reach out about wanting to do it. Get them all involved, and we have you are in it, so 10 other people.
I'm so bad at fantasy.
You are. Oh, I love fantasy football.
I don't have any luck. Like,
it's not luck. It is skill, brother.
No, it's I'm the injury bug guy. So everybody I pick gets hurt. So I have to take into consideration my very last pick because he's probably going to be starting by week 2.
Hey, that last pick is always defense or a kicker at last pick.
So awful. I've had defenses get hurt.
The entire defense. Yes. I won't go into the full thing. We'll talk fantasy football closer to the season because
I'm looking forward to it.
I love fantasy football. I've gotten I used to be like at it where I didn't really care. And then I started every Wednesday or Thursday, I would invest like an hour of my life to research it and like going on the waiver wire and picking everyone up. Last year I'm in 2 leagues and everyone wants to hear about my fantasy football. I know. Won the championship and one was the runner-up in the other.
Yeah, fantasy football has ruined friendships in the group chat because of vetoes and things like that. So,
yeah, vetoes are tough.
I'm actually the de facto judge because I don't play.
So they're like, "Do you think this is a fair trade?"
Yeah. So I get to be the deciding vote on a lot of things. I'm like the arbitrator.
Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, straight up. Who says no?
I know. I've actually stopped some shenanigans too, based on some of the things like the wheeling and dealing of the group chat. So. I hold a high standing come September.
I like it.
Yeah.
So if there's any interest, feel free to text us 804-327-0888 if there is interest in a potentially Fitz the Bill fantasy football league. I think that could be fun. I've been playing around with it in my mind, and now that I've put it out there, I think it's fair.
I don't have a problem with it.
That's the approach. ESPN Richmond Fitz the Bill, proud to be a sponsor for the Virginia Council of CEOs Fall Leaders Conference. September 25th in just about a month and 12 days. You can check out the link in our Instagram bio at Fitz The Bill, ESPN RVA, to get your tickets. Use code FITZ at checkout. It is an awesome event for business owners, executives, and their teams. The Virginia Council of CEOs Fall Leaders Conference, September 25th. Ross Bernstein, he stopped by the show a couple of weeks ago. He's the keynote speaker. He's a best-selling author of over 40 books. So check it out. You can get tickets. Link in our Instagram bio, Fitz The Bill, ESPN RVA. Get your tickets and use code FITZ at checkout. Here's the real question of it all. We posed this question yesterday, and I think I have an answer. Would you rather be a Browns quarterback or a Bears quarterback?
I didn't get
it's Browns. I would rather be a Browns quarterback.
You know, I got a lot of retired comments.
Wow,
Yeah,
people just, I would retire.
A lot of people were like, "No, I don't want to do either."
I think that if you forced me to choose, I think it's the Browns. And we rehashed it out yesterday after the show. Baker Mayfield was a questionable missed call away from making to an AFC Championship game with the Browns. Stefanski's a pretty good coach. He got the Browns to a playoff game with a culmination of Joe Flacco and a bunch of other random quarterbacks.
It was crazy.
Where the Bears, their best quarterback in the modern era, their best quarterback since winning the Super Bowl back in, 85? It's probably been Rex Grossman. He got him to a Super Bowl with Lovie Smith. That's their creme de la creme. That's their top of the food chain quarterback, Rex Grossman. I'm going Browns. If you made me pick a team to be the quarterback, I'm going Browns. And I don't think it's close.
Yeah, I'm tempted to say Browns too, just based on the ghost that's hovering over the Bears.
Look, I'm telling you, there are ghosts in Hallis Hall. They are all the quarterbacks that have walked the hallowed grounds of Hallis Hall, and they are holding back every single quarterback. They are putting some sort of weird spell on each rookie, each guy that comes. Jay Cutler was a fine quarterback when he was with the Denver Broncos. He goes to Chicago, and he gets injury-plagued, and he just starts smoking cigs on the sidelines and doing all that weird stuff.
I mean, you could make an argument that they might be cursed for real.
I don't think there's an argument. I think it is cursed.
You can't get 4K passing in this age.
4K in this age. Caleb will probably do it this year while also completing only 65% of his passes and throwing 20 interceptions.
One can only hope.
That'd be a good outcome for Caleb after how he started in the preseason. But we still got hope. Hand is hovering above the panic button, a little closer when it comes to Caleb Williams. Keep it locked right here, 106.1 ESPN Richmond, the spot where Richmond talks sports. We've got Border to Border coming up at 3. Then the mashup hour. I think they're doing some sort of mashup hour because Matt and I will be out at JMU Football Media Day from 1 until 3, getting a ton of interviews for Talkin' Dukes, which is tonight, as well as the start of our college football previews tomorrow. We're talking with a bunch of JMU players and coaches, so keep it locked right here. Tomorrow, we've got a loaded show, and it is our kickoff of our college football previews, starting with JMU.
From the Bull Rush ESPN
You want a shot at $50,000 in cold, hard cash? Well, Bull Rush just dropped a new sports comp, the NFL Survivor. And the total prize pool, a massive $100,000. First place gets $50,000 straight up. Think you got the picks to survive 20 weeks?
Join now at bullrush.com/ESPN.